What's good, everybody? My name is Kalen, and I'm joined by my co-host Luke or Racewag, and this is the Huddle Break podcast. It's been a while
Yes,
since we've
sir.
been recording. We have been about a month off. It's been kind of weird. Our last episode was a fantasy draft. How you been, Luke?
I've been good, man. Just grinding school and anticipating the football season kindly coming to fruition. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, man. I'm so excited. We're less than a week away from kickoff. We got the Cowboys Bucks game next Thursday. So excited for that. We're probably going to be moving into, well, not probably, we are going to be moving into weekly episodes starting next week. So y'all can look for that new episode. It'll probably be either Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. But yeah, we're going to be giving the predictions for all of week one next week and, some fantasy talk as well. But for today, we have a fun set of topics. We're going to start the day off going over some NFL news. Then we'll be going into our 2021 NFL honor predictions. And lastly, we're going to be talking about some college football. We're both going to talk about a few games that we're looking forward to this weekend. So let's go ahead and start it off with the NFL news. Mac Jones was officially named as the starter of the Patriots, starting QB of the Patriots. What are your thoughts on that, Ray?
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I know for a while people were talking about he might go number 3 overall to San Francisco in the draft, and then when he fell and then fell to New England, people were like, "Uh-oh, this is reminiscent of Tom Brady, kind of." Yeah, but from all the reports in Pat's camp are he's been absolutely crushing it and doing really well. The whole thing with Cam, I think it was some COVID issue where he either didn't get vaccinated or he didn't do a correct test facility, something like that. And so that basically he had to stay away from the team for a week, and that gave Mac Jones a lot of first team reps. And yeah, I mean, he took full advantage. And I think the Patriots are like, wow, he's a real game manager, just like he was at Alabama. And we might have kind of something special here.
Yeah, I agree. I like that he's going to get the start. I like Cam Newton, obviously, and I think that last year he was doing well up
Mm-hmm.
until he got COVID. Like, I think it was week 4 that he went out.
Yeah.
And I think that really did mess them for the whole season. I don't think he ever fully recovered from that. I mean, possibly even to now. But from Warren Sharp, for you fantasy junkies out there, Mac Jones' favorite targets are Jacoby Myers and Kendrick Bourne. They were both seeing about an even 40% of the targets in team reps. And his tight end by far is Jonnu Smith over Hunter Henry, which I think I kind of anticipated, but I didn't think it'd be quite as severe as it was. Jonnu Smith is seeing like 70% of the tight end one action.
Yeah.
And James White obviously saw a majority of the targets from running backs. So yeah, that's for you tight end junkies, or not tight end, fantasy junkies. Sorry. So Ray, where do you see Cam Newton going?
Yeah, it's interesting, right? I could see him going a couple different places. I could see something where, because there's been rumors now that Deshaun Watson maybe get traded to the Miami Dolphins. And so I could see maybe Cam being Deshaun's replacement in Houston. Could definitely see
Yeah.
something like that happen. If they were to trade Watson, it'd be a similar situation to how Brady left New England last year, and Cam sort of fit it right in there. I think probably the most likely option, in my opinion, would be Washington. He played under Ron Rivera on my Panthers for better part of a decade. And, Washington's a defensive team. They're a ground it, pound it team. They're kind of like the perfect storm for Cam Newton. And they remind me a lot of the 2015 Panthers team with Ron Rivera and Cam that got to the Super Bowl. And obviously, Cam Newton had that MVP season, but that team was dominated by defense.
Yeah.
And I think this Washington team could really I think it could really ascend to the top of the NFC, top like 5 teams in the NFC if they've got Cam Newton. I really believe he could really benefit them in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I mean, I think Cam's a great athlete, but I do think he's past his prime. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
he's bringing a team to a Super Bowl. I mean, that defense could bring a lot of QBs to a Super Bowl. I don't know if Cam or Ryan Fitzpatrick are either QBs that could be brought to the Super Bowl by that defense, but I don't see him going to Miami because what Miami's done is they've built this extremely good team. Or sorry, not Cam going to Miami. I don't see Deshaun Watson going to Miami
Mm-hmm.
because they've built this extremely good team and they're like, they're all in this year pretty much. And if they trade for Deshaun Watson and he doesn't play, they've just thrown their year away. They've thrown this team where they really built a really talented team on all ends. And so I just don't see it happening. So I don't really see him going to Houston. I think he ends up with the Steelers or Broncos if he does end up on a team. Those are the two destinations I could see him shining in, and where I actually think that he is a much better option than Teddy Bridgewater or Ben Roethlisberger. I just, I think he'd fit in really well with the Steelers and having like that, double threat in the backfield between Najee Harris and Cam Newton. I don't really want to see him on the Steelers because I don't like the Steelers, but I think it'd be fun to watch him on the Broncos. But I don't even know if we'll get any of those jobs, man. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's move into the Saints Packers game being moved to Jacksonville. What are your thoughts on that, Ray?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, hearts go out to the sort of southern area there of Louisiana. It's really rough, impacted area from, was it Ida, I believe? Um, they really they took a brunt of that storm, and so it'll be interesting. Um, Kind of, it's always a little bit exciting as different teams go to different places that they've never played at before. Even though obviously you wish the circumstances were different, but it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think regardless, it'll be a good game. I'm excited to see Jameis Winston at the helm for the Saints and see what Sean Payton can do with someone who has a bigger arm than Drew Brees. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
because I personally, I'm not a huge Saints fan whatsoever, but I have a lot of respect for Sean Payton and what he's able to do. So I think it'll be a really interesting game. And of course, Aaron Rodgers coming off all the offseason drama there, so it'll be a really good game and sort of in a new setting.
Yeah, the Saints have a really good home field advantage. It's really hard to play in New Orleans, so I feel like the um game getting moved to Jacksonville kind of makes it like unwinnable for the Saints because they just lose their home field advantage, and I think the Packers are just gonna run all over them. You know, I just don't. I don't. I see it. They lost their advantage in the game. Their only win condition was having home field and taking advantage of that. So I think it's unlucky for them, but hopefully they can get back to playing home games sooner rather than later. But I guess we'll have to see how that game pans out. We'll talk more about that next week, go more in depth to it. That was my prairie dog, Sweet Tea. She's behind me. If you did you hear that right?
Barely. I mean, first of
Okay.
all, the fact you have a pet prairie dog is the cutest thing ever.
Yeah, she's the best, sweetest of teas on Instagram. I love her, but she's behind me now, so hopefully that wasn't too loud. But
Barely even heard it.
but yeah, we're gonna be moving on to our second topic, which we're gonna be going over our in 2021 NFL honor predictions. So that's MVP, Coach of the Year, Comeback Player, Offensive Rookie, all those. So we're gonna start it off with Coach of the Year. Who do you predict to be the Coach of the Year in 2021, Luke?
All right, so I wanted to say Matt Rule because I really do believe my Panthers will have a good season, but I'm gonna go with a little bit of maybe an oddball here, and I'm gonna say Bill Belichick is the coach of the year. And I don't know. I really think this Patriots team is gonna surprise people. I think Mac Jones is gonna be a good leader. He's gonna be a good ball distributor. And I think this defense is going to come ready to play. We know they're going to be a top 3 coached team. And they didn't do too well last season. I believe it was either 8-8 or 7-9. And I really think, I truly believe they're going to win around 11, 12 games this year. I think they're going to be, I've been really looking at their offseason moves and I'm updating kind of my predictions. And I think the Patriots will 100% make the playoffs and possibly win 11 or 12 games this year.
Yeah, I think if they were to go from, I think they were 7-9 last year, and turn their season around, with Mac Jones and be a 12-win team and make a nice little playoff run, I think that's very high possibility if Bill Belichick wins that. So I don't think that's like a oddball take at all. I wonder what the odds are for that. I'll have to look at that after the podcast because that's a very possible thing. Um, for my Coach of the Year prediction, I picked your Super Bowl team from the AFC, Brandon Staley.
Ooh.
Picked him for Coach of the Year, man. And because I think that the Chargers are gonna have a really good year. I was looking at the odds for Brendan Staley, and he's tied with Kevin Stefanski and Kyle Shanahan as the lowest odds to win. So I think it's like plus 600, which is
But
pretty crazy.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, Brandon Staley was the most recently the defensive coordinator of the Rams, and so he's got a good defensive mind, and now he's got a really good offensive weapons to work with, and I think that this team is going to be really good, and if they make a really just decent playoff run, if they can get it to the AFC Championship or even win just one playoff game, I could see him winning it. Right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like that a lot. Obviously, I love the Chargers, and I'm excited to see what they can do. I have them getting to the Super Bowl, so hey, I mean, if that happens, then I could see Brandon Staley 100%, man. It'll be interesting to see what the new dynamic he brings to that team.
Yeah, for sure. All right, we're moving on to the second award, which is the Comeback Player of the Year. And who else could I give it to other than the quarterback of my team, Rain Dakota Prescott?
Yes, sir.
I mean, he went out last week or last year season or week 4 against the Giants. It was awful. It was a miserable day. Probably my least favorite week of football in a long time. I can't remember a time that I've been more heartbroken just because I knew our season was gone. He was playing so well. And I think he's just gonna come back with everything to prove. CeeDee Lamb's in his second year, so he's getting even better by the year. Amari Cooper looks fantastic. Zeke looks fantastic. Our offensive line is recuperated. Our defense is gonna be playing even better with Micah Parsons as a new leader. I'm just so excited for this year of football, and I think that after Dak Prescott comes out and shows us his true talent, that no one else will be able to win it. Right.
Yeah, I really like that. I mean, it was devastating when Dak went down like that, and I think we're all rooting for him. He's an amazing person, an amazing leader, amazing player for America's team, and I'm excited to see. I'm always rooting for the Cowboys, man. They're a fun team to watch. I know a lot of people are annoyed at them, but I always think they're a fun team to watch, man. So wishing all the best to Dak, and it'd be awesome if he won Comeback Player of the Year for sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with somebody a little different here, and I'm gonna go with Joe Burrow. Now, I think we're all like it was last year was horrible with the injuries. Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
and not just injuries, but the severity of the injuries. I mean, you really felt for Joe Burrow. But I think he has a great season. I mean, you talk about Tyler Boyd, you talk about Jamar Chase, you talk about T. Higgins. I think he's got a bona fide, like top, maybe even top 5, definitely top 10 wide receiver core. And I think he could light it up this season. And I think he will be in the MVP conversation at some point. I don't know if he'll even get close to winning it when it's all said and done, but I definitely think Joe Burrow has a nice shot to win Comeback Player of the Year.
Yeah, I could see it. Maybe. I don't know, man. I'm not a believer in the Bengals like you are. I think that offensive line is wretched. And um, after the preseason with Jamar Chase being, he had 5 drops out of 6 targets in the preseason, which is putrid. That really makes me lose hope for this team because if they can't protect Burrow and their first round wide receiver is a bust, then like what are we doing? What are they gonna do? Um, I saw a stat that said that Jamar Chase had more drops in his preseason starts than he had in his entire college football career. So hopefully that's something they can patch up. Otherwise, I don't see them being a successful team because that O line is bottom 10. So, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. I could be wrong. Been wrong many times. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next award, the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And what do you have for that, Racewag?
All right, so I'm excited for this one. Offensive Rookie of the Year. I am going to go with Trevor Lawrence. All right, I
Oh.
think I mean, I think it's obviously the kind of like duh pick, but
Yeah,
I truly believe he's already coming in as a top 20, if not top 15 quarterback in the NFL. I think he's the most ready. I think he's the most ready NFL ready rookie that quarterback that we've had since Peyton Manning.
yeah,
And even Peyton Manning didn't have a great rookie season, but I think Trevor Lawrence is surrounded by coaches that know how to build. I'm excited with his receiving core in Chark, Marvin Jones Jr., and Laviska Shenault Jr. He's got James Robinson. He lost ETN, which sucks, but he got James. So is James Robinson, who is a really good running back. So I'm excited, man. I think Joe Burrow is going to light it up, and I think he'll definitely get Rookie of the Year.
You said Joe Burrow, but I know you meant Trevor Lawrence.
Did I say Joe Burrow? My fault. I meant Trevor.
You're still daydreaming about Joe Burrow for some reason. But yeah, the easy answer for everyone would probably be Trevor Lawrence. I'm sure he has the best odd or the lowest odds, for to take. I'm sure it's like plus 200 or something. But I could see it. He's definitely like the best college prospect since like Andrew Luck. I mean, the guy is going to be talented. I think his floor is like Carson Palmer. Like, he gets a handful of Pro Bowls, and that's probably one of the highest floors from a rookie quarterback that anyone will ever see. But I'm going to go out on a whim and say that in Chicago, Andy Dalton is going to last a few games, and then when Justin Fields comes in, he's going to light it up and take the Rookie of the Year out of Trevor Lawrence's hands. I'm high on Justin Fields, man. I mean, obviously it's a lot more of a long shot than Trevor Lawrence, but watching him in the preseason, he's a dual threat. He's athletic. He's got a good arm. He's got good pocket presence, man. I don't think he's going to be taking sacks. I don't think he's going to be turning the ball over. I think he's going to be a really good addition to this Bears team. And if he can lead them to the playoffs, then I think he'll win Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I also think Justin Fields is a beast. I think he's got a very high end. I think he'll succeed in Chicago. And I'm excited to see what him and Allen Robinson and David Montgomery and the squad over there can get going.
Yeah, it's kind of weird saying that because it feels like it's illegal for the Bears to have a good quarterback. They've never had one. They've never had a good quarterback.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited to watch how he plays this year and how the Bears look. I would love for them to have a good quarterback. I got a lot of Bears friends. And even though Justin Fields to go to Ohio State, I want him to be successful. I always want rookies to be successful, unless they're like from UT or A&M. But anyways, let's move on to the next award, which is the Defensive Rookie of the Year. And for this one, I made my pick before really doing any research, just out of pure bias. And then I looked at the odds, and he's actually the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I picked Micah Parsons.
Wow. Okay.
And when he got drafted, I was like disappointed because we all wanted Patrick Surtain, and he
Right.
got taken he got taken by the Broncos 2 picks in front of the Cowboys. And so when we got Micah Parsons, a lot of Cowboys Twitter was like disappointed. They were upset. They were like, well, we wanted Surtain. But like Micah Parsons just came out to be a true leader on and off the field. He looks great. He's very versatile. And another, from Penn State, I think he's NFL ready, and I think he's going to be a real leader out there and win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Who do you got, Ray? Or what
All
are your
right.
thoughts
So
actually first?
yeah, well, yeah, no, I didn't realize that either. That Michael Parsons was so high up in the odds. That's amazing. I think he's an absolute beast. I love him as a person. He seems like a really, really stand up guy, and he's on the Cowboys, man. He's gonna get a lot of bright lights. So I'm excited to see. He looks like a really strong linebacker, and I'm excited to see him, man.
Sir, so who do you got?
All right, so I'm also going with the bias pick, but I think it's also a good pick, which is J.C. Horn, cornerback from the Carolina Panthers. Let me just say, y'all, okay? I know everyone's talking about Patrick Surtain, and for good reason. J.C. Horn looks like Jalen Ramsey. He hits hard. He will knock the ball out of your hands, and he's big. He's fast. He's explosive, and he's smart too. He already looks like he's been a 5-year veteran watching some of these preseason games against other starters. I really like him. He's opposite Dante Jackson. So a lot of the time he won't even have the toughest matchup necessarily. And I'm just excited to see him, man. I think he's going to get a bunch of picks. He's got a couple in the preseason, got a couple of huge plays, and that's my personal prediction for Defensive Rookie of the Year is J.C. Horn.
Yeah, he had a
Oh,
good
what? Sorry. I was just gonna say, his dad, Joe Horn, played for the Saints as receiver, so he's got that pedigree.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was impressed by him in the preseason. He looks good, and I think that's reflected in his Defensive Rookie of the Year odds. I remember he's up. I think he's has the same odds as Patrick Surtain. I'm pretty
Gotcha,
sure they have
gotcha.
the same. Like I think it was like Micah Parsons, Jamin Davis, Quiddy Pay, and then Surtain and Horn. I'm pretty sure. So he's not that far down. I could definitely see it happening. Um, if the Panthers have a good defense this year, then definitely. I feel like the defensive rookie of the year is gonna be someone who has a good defense. So it might be Parsons and Horn out of the window. But hopefully one of our teams can grab that accolade.
Yes,
At
sir.
the very least. But let's go ahead and move into the next award, which is Offensive Player of the Year. Who do you got, Ray?
All right, so my offensive player of the year, and I'm only saying this because it's hard for this position to win MVP, but it's going to be Christian McCaffrey for me. I think McCaffrey has a huge bounce back year. I think we've upgraded an offensive line. I think even having Chuba Hubbard as a right hand man is going to really help McCaffrey. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he has an insane another good season, man. I mean, I think Sam Darnold's going to be very solid for the Panthers, and a lot of Sam is just going to be getting used to the offense. And what does that mean? That means checkdowns. That means insurance packages, which is McCaffrey. And I think McCaffrey is going to get another insane. I think he could have another thousand season for receiving yards and rushing yards. And I'm just excited for him to get it going, man. And I really do think he'll win Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'm with you with that a running back will probably win Offensive Player of the Year. I think that it's really hard for a running back to ever win MVP, especially after like last year with Derrick Henry's season. The first, like he literally was breaking records. And,
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Rodgers had a great season. I'm not saying he wasn't playing at an MVP caliber, but I just don't see it ever happening unless there's like another season like 2017 where the best quarterback is getting like 30 touchdowns and like 3,500 yards. So,
Yeah.
so I'm with you. I definitely could see Christian McCaffrey. I don't think anyone would disagree with that. He's a fantastic player, top running back in the NFL, the best fantasy running back by far. However, I'm gonna pick a different running back for Offensive Player of
Mm.
the Year. Love McCaffrey. He probably has better odds to win this award, but I'm gonna go with Saquon Barkley. I
Mm.
am so high on him this year. I think he's got a lot to prove because I feel like a lot of people are forgetting about him. I feel like in the casual NFL space that a lot of people are kind of like forgetting how good he really is, man. Like I saw a cute running back tier list on my timeline a few days ago, and Saquon wasn't even top 20, and this is from a guy who like worked at ESPN or something.
Wow.
And I wanted to just I didn't even interact because at this point I try to not give attention to people who are clearly farming interactions like that. But man, there were people that were arguing it in the comments. Like there's actually a side of Twitter that doesn't think Saquon's a top 20 running back. I don't know if it was a giant troll formed on Reddit or something that they were all just trying to
Wow.
work against, but man, it was disgusting. They had like Derrick Henry 9 too, so I don't know. The list was awful, dude. The list was
Well,
awful.
it's funny because lately in fantasy drafts, Saquon's been falling to around 10 when I think
Yeah.
he's 100% a top 5 in fantasy,
Yeah.
and I would say probably top 3 to 5 in real life. And it's interesting because I mean, the debate used to be McCaffrey or Saquon, who's a better young running back, and I always say McCaffrey. But now I'm kind of feeling bad for Saquon because people are really undervaluing him, man. I think he's gonna have an awesome season, so I love that pick as well.
Yeah, I think also him getting some wide receiver depth will open up the box a lot for him too. Like teams were like he was having fantastic seasons with playing against the most stacked box on average in the NFL because they had no wide receiver talent with Daniel Jones throwing, man. So now that they've got like Kenny Galladay and some their O line's beefed up a little bit, Daniel Jones got to be more comfortable. He's got to have a better year, and if he can stay healthy, I could see him win Offensive Player of the Year for sure. But we'll go ahead and move into our Defensive Player of the Year. With these picks, I tried to not just pick the most easy, obvious thing. So like I didn't want to pick Aaron Donald, even though he's probably gonna win it if he has a season like if he plays to his potential, he'll probably win it, right? But I think I picked the second best player. I think Miles Garrett. I think he has potential to win this award over Aaron Donald, especially with Clowney paired on the other side to relieve some pressure off of him. He'll be able to make even more of an impact. Odds wise, he's tied with Aaron Donald, so people are thinking like me as well. What do you think about this pick, Ray?
I think it's interesting. I think it's definitely he's one of the top defensive players in the NFL, And as you know, defensive players, the committees love the sacks. They love those pass rushers. So
Mhm.
he's definitely up there. He's definitely you could easily see him, especially if the Browns have a defense like a lot of people are predicting. It's even better than last
Yeah,
year. One
I'm
of the
really
top
high on
ones.
their I'm high on their defense.
You are, yeah,
You talk to me a lot. We do fantasy drafts together. I think I talked about it a lot last
yeah.
episode. I am so high on their defense. But who do you have for defensive player of the year?
All right, so I actually thought you were gonna say this guy. I forgot, freaking, I forgot about Miles Garrett, but I thought you were gonna say this guy
TJ
who
Watt?
what?
TJ Watt?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I knew it.
That boy TJ.
I knew you picked a white man. I'm just playing.
you're funny, bro.
No, I'm just playing.
So here's my reasoning for TJ, right? I think Aaron Donald as well is the top guy on the roster, or sorry, of defensive players.
Yeah.
But I personally think that TJ should have probably won it last year. That's just my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
he
I'm in the
played.
minority.
He
I get
might
it.
have, honestly. He could have very well.
Yeah, I really truly believe Aaron Donald. Now Aaron Donald deserved it, but I truly believe he got the extra edge just because of who he is and
Yeah.
recognition and stuff.
Yeah.
But I think TJ is gonna have a great season this year, another one, and I think I don't know. I've got a good feeling about TJ, man. I think
I
he's
agree.
gonna rise to the occasion. I think he's a real good lock for defensive player of the year.
I think that the three top defensive players in the NFL are TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, and Aaron Donald. I think they're the best players on the defensive side of the ball. I think that Aaron Donald is probably the best, but he also plays in a harder division. He plays in a harder schedule. So it'll be harder for him to have as good of a year as those two players who are in the same division. But yeah, I could see the award going either way, man. TJ Watt, Miles Garrett, they're both fantastic players. They're, 2 and 3 interchangeable. And I'm really, really, really excited to watch them both play. TJ Watt's got winning in his blood. His brother is a, Hall of Famer defensive player, one of the greatest of all time. So
Absolutely.
looking forward to this year a lot. Let's move on to the most important vote, the final vote, the NFL MVP. Who do you got?
All right. So sticking with my Super Bowl prediction of the Los Angeles Chargers making the Super Bowl, I'm going to go ahead and say Justin Herbert will win MVP this year. All right.
Wow, love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. I'm so excited to
I
see
love it.
the new improved O line, the reinvented offense, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, all those guys, Jared Cook at tight end. I really
Yep.
think Justin Herbert, who, I mean, most people already consider him top 15, if not top 10
Yeah, top 10
quarterback,
pretty
probably
much.
top 10, right? I mean,
Yeah.
in the league. And that's after just one season, after having basically one of the best rookie years of all time, if not the greatest. And so I'm excited for him to take the leap. You see a lot of quarterbacks taking that huge leap in the second year after a first good year, a la Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. So
Lamar
I'm really
Jackson.
excited. Lamar, yeah, thank you. Very good.
Josh Allen, right?
Cam Newton, Josh Allen, yeah. So I'm excited to see what Justin Herbert can do. I think the Chargers is going to be a real menace, and I think we could have honestly 2 top 5 teams in the NFL coming from the same division with the Chiefs and Chargers
That
this
would
year.
be awesome, dude.
Yeah.
We gotta make sure Cuzzy watches this episode because he's gonna be locked in, man. We've picked his coach for coach of
And
the
Eric.
year, and yeah, for real, they're gonna love the gas. But yeah, I see Justin Herbert. I'm high on him, dude. I was high on him when he got drafted. I remember talking Cuzzy up about it. I was telling him like, yo, man, this guy's good. He can't be like he wanted Tua.
Yeah.
He got Justin Herbert. I bet he's happy about that
Right.
now. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that pick. I like it's different. The easiest answer is always gonna be Patrick Mahomes, probably for the next 10 years of our life. Where as long as he's healthy and his team is not dead.
Right.
I think anyone
Hey,
would just
Aaron
be like,
Rodgers still there too.
yeah, but I'm saying the easiest pick for a while will
Yeah,
probably be
yeah.
Pat
I feel
Mahomes. If he could just block for himself, he'd be the bona fide MVP for the rest of his life.
He
But
needs to get better at that, to be honest.
yeah, absolutely. So yeah, I avoided that as my answer for the MVP. I did choose bias. I don't know what got into me. I usually stay away from this.
Oh no.
It's my second favorite player in the NFL,
Oh no.
Randy Dakota Prescott.
Oh my goodness. There it is.
Dude,
There
I
it
just,
is.
I just, man, it has, I am a Cowboys fan, but I like to think that I'm impartial. and he was putting up MVP numbers before his injury last year. His team around him last year was also way worse. Like, imagine if he had his, starting O-line last year. Imagine the numbers he could have put up in those first 4 games. Imagine if his defense wasn't giving up 40 points a game, you know? He would have been 4-0. Probably 4-0 because they barely lost to the Rams week 1. Um, before he got injured. And it's like, I just, I think he's going to come out this year. I think it's the Cowboys' year. I always, there's memes about Cowboys fans always saying this, but man, their team is so solid this year. I'm high on Dak, and I probably will be for the rest of my life. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I can't say it's wrong. I mean, he was certainly putting up MVP type caliber numbers before his freak injury last season. CD Lamb's in his second season. From some of the video that's been going around, Amari Cooper looks amazing. I've been high on him in fantasy. I'm excited. I'm really, really excited to see what's going to happen. I think Dak Prescott definitely could come out with that surprise MVP year. And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's crazy, is what I'll say. I don't know if it'll happen, but I definitely don't think it's crazy. And I think they'll have a good season as long as he stays healthy.
Well, thank you for not just destroying me there, because you always could. And I'm trying to think. I think Dak may be the 5th highest for MVP odds. I think it's like Mahomes, A-Rod, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, then Dak. So,
Okay.
um,
So actually, technically, Justin Herbert
yeah,
is the wild card that I picked.
yeah, I think he's in like 10th or something. But
Okay.
um, I'm such a Dak fan. I've been supporting him for years, dude. And honestly, it's weird on Twitter. I've been seeing a lot of people praise him and put him top 7, top 8. A year ago, I was arguing with people on Twitter who were saying he wasn't even a top 10 QB.
Wow.
And he gets
Yeah.
injured, and I think people see the value that he had from how awful the Cowboys were. I mean, there's that graphic that I've tweeted out a few times where it's like, um, I can't remember it, but let's just say that everyone knows the Cowboys offense died off once he got injured. And I think that him getting injured proved more than his stats would have ever. Because people were always just saying that it's garbage time and that he's playing bad teams. And that's why he's putting up these numbers. But then you put Andy Dalton, who's a veteran, an average QB, which is what people were saying Dak is, in his shoes. And the guy just can't complete a pass. He throws more interceptions than touchdowns. He looks awful. And so, I don't know. I think that him getting injured helped his overall reputation amongst NFL fans, weirdly enough. But yeah, enough about Dak. I'm sure everyone loves hearing about him. But we're gonna move on to college football. That was our NFL MVP or NFL honor awards. We're gonna be moving on to our games that we're excited about this week in college football. It's not NFL, but it's still football, and that's enough for us. So the first game we're gonna be talking about, we're still gonna discuss the games a little bit before. We're both excited. This is the only one we're both excited for. Is Miami Hurricanes at number 14 versus the number 1 Alabama Crimson Tide. Why are you excited about this game, Ray?
Yeah, listen, I mean, I personally think this will be competitive. I mean, Alabama obviously is coming off another amazing season.
Yeah.
But they lost, 6 of their really good starters. I think De'Aaron King will be back to full strength for Miami. We'll see. He injured it in the bowl game, their bowl game last season.
Yeah.
But he's a mobile playmaker, and I really think he's gonna pose some problems for that Alabama defense. But it'll be interesting, man. Here's the thing. The reason I think this, I think if this game is played maybe 10 games down the road, I think Alabama maybe wins by 20 or 30. But I think it might be a touchdown game. You're talking about Bryce Young for Alabama making his first career start, and he might have to get some jitters out of there. So they're replacing Jalen Waddle. They're replacing Devontae Smith. It'll be interesting, man. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah. I think it'll be entertaining. De'Aaron King reminds me a lot of like a little bit taller Kyler Murray. He's really quick and elusive, while also having a good arm and being, extremely athletic. So that alone, he's someone that'll make the game entertaining to watch regardless because of how athletic and what he'll do on the field. He had amazing stats last year. But I just don't see it being that close. But that doesn't mean I'm not excited for it. I mean, the point spread right now for Alabama is minus 18.5. So the odds definitely are not in the favor of a close game. Also, Alabama hasn't lost a home opener since 2001. Or sorry,
Wow.
not a home opener, a season opener. Um,
Yeah. Wow.
so I mean, regardless of if it's close or not, if it ends up being a 17-point game, I think watching De'Aaron King develop, and watching the defending national champions will also be extremely fun. So I'm looking forward to it. Um, it's gonna be a great game. The next game I wanted to talk about was the probably like the most hyped up game of the weekend. I would say maybe the FSU game, but the number 5 Georgia Bulldogs versus the number 3 Clemson Tigers. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I'm excited. Two powerhouses. It'll be cool to see the
Yeah,
Clemson sort of the post Trevor Lawrence era. Yeah, I'm excited. I don't know too much about Georgia. Maybe you could speak on some of that, but I'm definitely
yeah,
excited. Clemson's one of the power Carolina teams in the area.
yeah. Georgia's got JT Daniels coming back. He
Hmm.
looked good last year. Nothing crazy. He's a really good game manager player. Um, this new quarterback for Clemson. He has the most confusing last name of all time. It's DJ Ui Ui Angalele.
Gotcha.
Uyangalele, I think. Um, if I remember correctly. But he made an appearance in 2020. I don't know if you were watching those games, but he put up like 800 yards and 4 touchdowns in 2 games, and he lost one of them. I think it was against Notre Dame that he lost, but he looked so good. So
Hmm.
I think this guy's gonna come out and beat the tar out of Georgia. Personally, Georgia is a good team. They got a good defense. They got a game manager QB, but I think they're gonna get the tar beat out of them. I'm so excited to watch this game. I'm looking forward to it a lot. What game are you excited for, Ray?
Yeah, the next game I'm really looking at, and it actually starts in a few hours, so my fault if you're watching this post, but it'll be kind of a good teams to look out for as well in the season. But I got number 10 North Carolina at Virginia Tech. Tar Heels are led by Sam Howell, and he's going to be really interesting. He should be a high pick in the NFL draft next season. He's a beast, and I'm excited to see what if he'll take the next step this year. They should be a high-powered offense for sure, but they're going to get up against a very, very strong Virginia Tech defense. They got junior defensive back Chamari Connor and sophomore linebacker Alan Tisdale. I'm excited to see both of those guys lead a defense that definitely wants revenge on some of the stuff North Carolina did last year. And I think it'll be an underrated but competitive game, and about the only one on a Friday, so that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, there's never much college football on Fridays, but I'll definitely have it on tonight. It's North Carolina's favored by 6 points. I have it up on the screen for anyone watching on YouTube. I have most of the games, or a lot of the closer games or bigger games up there. But I'm excited for it too, man. I'm really just excited for college football to be back. I've missed football so much, and while I am a giant NFL fan at heart, I still do love watching some college football. It's still always fun to watch with my dad. He grew up in Massachusetts, and he's been a Michigan fan his whole life because he was born there as well. So we were always watching Michigan, Ohio State, and Texas Tech, of course. But yeah, I'm really excited for these games. I'm sure that's gonna be a good one too. I'll make sure to be watching it tonight. What's the final game you're gonna be excited for tonight, Ray, or this weekend?
Yeah, man, I'm really excited for number 9 Notre Dame at Florida State.
Yeah,
I think this game could be competitive throughout, and then maybe Notre Dame pulls away a bit late. It should be, anytime you're playing in Tallahassee, that's a tough place to play for anybody. Florida State's young, but I think they're going to be interesting this season for sure. Notre Dame definitely has some areas that they could work on. But I think Florida State will definitely have some big plays because there's some holes in that Notre Dame defense. But on the flip side, quarterback Jack Cohn of the recent Wisconsin transfer to Notre Dame, I'm really excited. I think he's going to put on a clinic. So I'd say maybe like 34-21-ish for Notre Dame, but it could definitely be competitive throughout.
yeah, I agree with you there. I think that Notre Dame's just gonna kill Florida State. I feel like Florida State's probably one of the most overrated football or college football organizations in the country. They play, they don't really ever play great teams. Their division's kind of a joke, and they always have a good record because of it. I think if they were to, for some reason, if they were to be a part of that deal where they go to the SEC, I think they would get demolished for years to come. But this is definitely going to be an entertaining game. I think that Notre Dame is going to kill Florida State. Um, the odds are minus 10.5. There's my prairie dog again. Sorry, minus 10.5 in favor of Notre Dame. So it'll definitely be a game I have on. I'm all Saturday. All Saturday, Sunday. All I'm gonna do is watch college football. So I'm really excited for it. The last game we're gonna be talking about today is going to be the best game of the weekend, even though it's not on the screen right now. My Texas Tech Red Raiders are playing versus the University of Houston in Houston in the Texan Stadium, and I'm just so excited to watch my college play, man. Last year was such a weird year. It was our first year with Wells, and it was the first year of my life where Texas Tech didn't have an explosive passing defense.
Mm.
And so our quarterback from last year it transferred to Michigan, and we now have Tyler Shaw, who came from Oregon, and his stats at Oregon were great. He said when he came that he came to Texas Tech because he wants to win and he knows he can win. So I'm really excited for this man to put on a show and light up the passing game because it was weird. We had a good defense. We had above average defense and a below average offense last year, which has never been the reality for Texas Tech. And anyone who knows college football knows that. So I'm hoping that we can maybe even out the offense and even out the defense and have a really successful year. So I'm looking forward to this first game, first kickoff. I wish I could have gone, but I did not have the opportunity to this year. What do you think about the game, Ray?
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Should be high-powered offenses in interstate battle there with Texas. And yeah, I'm hyped, man. Texas Tech always gives a good showing. And I don't watch Houston University too much, but I probably should because I know they have a good basketball program. But regardless, I think it'll be a really interesting game to watch.
Yeah, I expect you to be watching it and putting your guns up for Texas Tech.
I got
Um,
you.
but yeah, that's gonna wrap up the episode for today. Thank you all so much for watching, and for anyone who's listening still all the way to the end. We appreciate that so much. We're approaching the NFL season here, and we're gonna start moving episodes every week. Like I said earlier in the episode, we're gonna have an episode either next Tuesday or Wednesday, and probably if we do have time throughout the semester, we might do 2 episodes a week. There might be weeks where crazy things happen and we want to pop out too. Like if there's a crazy day of football on Sunday, we might drop one Monday. You know, we'll just have to play it by ear. But we're super excited for this season. Just thank you from the bottom of our hearts for anyone who is listening, and make sure you drop a follow on all our socials. It's Huddle Break on everything: TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. And once again, thank you for taking a break from the huddle with us.